Hello everyone, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is October the 24th, and I've returned with another Halloween treat, another drawing for you today. And this one is more of a treat than a villain. Without delaying it any further, same disclaimers as always apply. See my first video for information about that. We're going to jump straight in, because there's a lot of information today about today's treat, Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion attraction, who's been hiding behind me in every single one of these videos. So here's my drawing of Madame Leota and her crystal ball. She's featured obviously in the Haunted Mansion ride in the Disney parks, which is my favorite attraction. She's a clairvoyant or a medium. In the context of the ride, basically when you're going through the ride, you go into Madame Leota's seance room, and she starts summoning the spirits and levitating instruments and objects and all of that sort of stuff. And then as you go further into the mansion, all of the ghosts start appearing because she has summoned them all. And when you get to the ballroom, all of the ghosts are magically revealed for you. But there's some, other stuff that goes into, background and backstories and all that, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. The portrayal of Madame Leota, the actual recorded head in the ball, is the recorded image of Leota Toombs Thomas, who worked for Disney in the ink and paint department in the 40s, and she worked at the company for a while, and then she eventually left Disney to raise her kids. She came back to Disney in 1962, but instead of going back to the ink and paint department, she ended up working for WED, which eventually became Walt Disney Imagineering. And in her time there, she played some pretty big roles in bringing It's a Small World to life, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, and the Ford Magic Skyway as they prepared for the 1964 New York World's Fair. And then after that, she also became instrumental in working with Pirates of the Caribbean and, of course, the Haunted Mansion. She ultimately was used as the recording for this. Ub Iwerks, who worked on the attraction, as well as Raleigh Crump and Yale Gracie, came up with the illusion here. Basically independently of each other, they came up with the same idea. Ub Iwerks sort of did it first, and then Crump and Yale Gracie came up with it as well after the fact. But basically, Ub Iwerks came up with the idea of the effect using a wig stand, and then figured out how to make a continuous loop of footage so that you also wouldn't have to change out a reel, because back then they had to record things on film. They didn't have digital technology the way that we do now. And so they were able to pull off this illusion. The voice of Madame Leota in the attraction is not Leota Toombs' voice, but rather the voice of Eleanor Audley, who was the voice of Lady Tremaine and Maleficent, and she had this sort of villainous quality to her voice. They decided to go with her for Madame Leota because she was a little bit more commanding. But they did use Leota Toombs Thomas's voice in the attraction as Little Leota, who's another character that sort of looks like Leota, because Leota Thomas's image was used for both of the characters. One of them is here in the crystal ball, and the other one's towards the end of the ride. There's this sort of veiled young lady who actually also has the same face as Leota Toombs, and that's become affectionately known as Little Leota, and Leota Toombs Thomas's voice was actually used for that, and she's the one at the end of the attraction that says, hurry back, don't forget to bring your death certificate, which sounds like this.
Be sure to bring your death certificate.
That's the voice of Leota Thomas. And then in a kind of a cool sort of full circle thing, you may have heard about this before if you've seen the Imagineering Story documentary on Disney Plus or read some articles at all about the Haunted Mansion. You'll know that whenever they made the Haunted Holiday layover, the Nightmare Before Christmas layover for the mansion attractions, they recorded a new loop or a new voice acting segment to fit in with that theme. The voice actor for that was an actor named Suzanne Blakesley, who you may know as the voice of Wanda from The Fairly Odd Parents, or she did a voice in Danny Phantom. She was also one of the voices in The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and she recorded the new voiceover for this. But the cool full circle thing that I was getting to is that the face for the holiday layover is the face of Kim Irvine, who works in the Walt Disney Imagineering department, and Kim Irvine is the daughter of Leota Toombs Thomas, and so their faces got to both be the images of Leota in both of the incarnations, the old one and the new one. And it's just a really sweet thing that they have there. In addition to the voice acting and everything like that, Leota has been used in various incarnations over time. She was played by Jennifer Tilly in the 2003 movie version. Leota was used as a character in the show Once Upon a Time. She was portrayed by Susie Joachim. She's shown up in House of Mouse. She showed up in a comic book made by Slave Labor Graphics, as well as there was a great series called Disney Kingdoms done by Marvel, which features a story arc about the Haunted Mansion. There's a series of young adult kid-oriented novels called Kingdom Keepers, which feature Madame Leota and the Haunted Mansion. And then recently, there's a new series of short story connected novels called Tales of the Haunted Mansion by John Esposito, and those also feature Madame Leota. Arguably, all of that content that has been made with Madame Leota is sort of the more official take on her backstory, if there even is an official take. Those that have been produced in the comics and novels and so on are probably the most official, but there is an unofficial backstory for Leota and a lot of the other characters in the mansion that you may have seen circulating on the internet or that you may have heard about. In the 80s and 90s, a bunch of the cast members that worked at the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World, the maids and butlers and ghost hosts and all that stuff, came up with this sort of unofficial guide and backstories to all of these characters because they would always get frequently asked questions by visitors to the parks. And they wrote them down, they collected them in a loose leaf or a spiral notebook that they used backstage to educate all of the people there to have some sort of interconnected backstory for the fans. That was it sort of surfaced over time as a thing that existed, and it was unofficial then and is still unofficial now. But I thought it would be interesting to read the snippet about Madame Leota's backstory, just as a fun thing. That you may have seen circulating out there. As far as I can tell, this was the official text that was, that was the actual text that was written down in the unofficial notebook backstage at Walt Disney World. Madame Leota was born October 31st, 1881 in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was born in the swamps to a kidnapped gypsy and a voodoo priest. Uneducated in everything but the occult, she grew up learning that other people were nothing but cattle and that everyone has weak spots and can be easily influenced. She was a very bitter person and was known to fly into rages at the least provocation. However, even though she had a bad temper, Leota was most dangerous when she was calm and could think things through. She was very sly, and the other village people shunned her. Leota finally moved to New Orleans and began reading palms and holding seances. Although some were exaggerated by special effects, by and large her powers were genuine. She was bilking many people out of their money, and when she met Master Gracie, she saw a real opportunity. She moved into the mansion, and it became easy for her to run the life of Gracie. His wife Lillian hated Leota. When Lillian tried to get rid of Leota, the madam hypnotized her into performing her old tightrope act and leaping to her death. Leota then convinced George to marry Emily, for she needed more money, just as he did. But not wanting another woman in his life, Leota locked the trunk that Emily was hiding in. Leota planned to use the mansion as a portal to another world to call in more powerful spirits. George refused to permit her. In the resulting argument, he learned that Leota had killed his wives. George then attempted to flee, but ended up in the attic as his escape routes were cut off since Leota was controlling the servants and spirits. As Leota cast a spell to imprison George in her crystal ball, he hung himself rather than be caught. With his death, the spell went awry and backfired, trapping Leota in her own crystal ball. To this day, Leota still commands some small power, but not as she was before. So that's sort of the unofficial, what's known as the Ghost Gallery, that was written down in the little spiral notebook by Disney cast members that you may have seen floating around as sort of a backstory for Madame Leota. It's considerably darker than you would probably expect for an official Disney backstory, and it's probably one of the reasons why it's not actually official. But I just thought it would be sort of a fun Halloweenish thing to read about Madame Leota. That's more or less a bunch of information about Leota. That's really fun. There are some other interesting tidbits about her as far as the parks are concerned. At Walt Disney World in Florida, there is a gift shop called Memento Mori, and if you go in there, you can see a lot of her personal effects, the way that it's decorated, and if you spend a little bit of time in there, she does visit the shop from time to time in the form of, you might see her face reflected in some of the mirrors, and you might hear her humming a tune as you walk around the shop. She's sort of floating around there. And then another cool thing that is you may occasionally see is actually in Star Tours, the Star Tours attraction, in the queue for the Star Tours attraction, G29T is a droid that has a luggage scanner for people boarding the Star Tours, and occasionally you will see on the luggage scanner an X-ray of Madame Leota in her crystal ball being smuggled into a Star Tours adventure. So it looks like from time to time some of the ghosts are able to escape the Haunted Mansion and smuggle their way onto Star Tours. So that's kind of a fun little thing. There's an image of that I was able to find, and I'll show you right here. So as you can see, she was able to be smuggled aboard the Star Tours. That's Madame Leota. So that's sort of some fun stuff about her. I hope that you enjoyed this video about Madame Leota. I know there's a lot of stuff in here, a lot to cover, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to. If the Haunted Mansion is one of your favorites, like it clearly is mine, if Madame Leota is one of your favorite characters from that attraction, let me know down below. Thanks as always for liking, commenting, and subscribing on these videos. I hope that you enjoyed this today. It was a nice little break in your day and a nice little Halloween treat. Please follow me for the rest of the month of October, when I'll be back with another one of these each day. And until I make the next one, which will be coming out tomorrow, I'll see you then. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.